Hey there, I'm John Cannon, and I'm the owner of NV Property Solutions LLC. In this video, we're going to be talking about you're behind in your mortgage payments and what you can do about it right here in the Reno area. So stick around and hopefully you get something out of the video. But before we get into the video, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and of course share it with all your friends and family so that way they can see the content in this video, especially if they're behind in payments and looking for options on their foreclosure. So without any further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into it, because you're behind in your mortgage payments and you want to know what the heck you can do. So here are 5 things you can do to help your situation, especially if you're in foreclosure. So the first option is bankruptcy. Usually this is a last resort tool, especially because when you file for bankruptcy, 1, you're going to ruin your credit. 2, you're going to have to pay the bankruptcy back, especially depending on your situation. When I would highly recommend talking with a bankruptcy attorney on this, especially so you can get all the ins and outs of what bankruptcy can and can't do for you. Also, I will link the other video I did about filing for bankruptcy to stop a foreclosure in the video in the description as well. So that way you can watch that video as well. But bankruptcy is an option for you. And more often than not, you're going to be have to do a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and you're just going to have to pay it back. The second option, is to reaffirm, which is basically you make a good faith payment to the mortgage company, and you're working with your mortgage company saying, hey, I'm going to make a payment on this date at this time for this amount. And what they do is, most mortgage companies and stuff like that, as long as you work with them and explain your situation, they will do everything that they can to help you out. If you can't do something, like say if you can't make a mortgage payment because of you lost a job or whatever, or have financial hardship, they're going to do their absolute best to help you out and stuff like that. They'll give you some options so that you can make a payment and stuff like that. There's also number 3 is, if your mortgage qualifies, you might be able to participate in an MHA, which is making home affordable. Any loans backed by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac must be considered for MHA, or making home affordable. And other lenders will choose to participate, and other lenders can choose to participate in that. It's kind of like a refinance type of situation. Reach out to your lender and ask them about it, especially if you're trying to do something like that. They might actually work with you to refinance or renegotiate the terms of your loan, so that way you can make the payment. So with that, which leads me into the next step, or next thing. Number 4 is negotiate with your bank. Like I mentioned earlier, if you work with your bank, they're willing to work with you, and sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, but it really all depends. As long as you have an open line of communication with the bank and your mortgage company, they're going to be a lot more willing to work with you, rather than someone that is ignoring the phone calls, ignoring the letters, and so on and so forth. And then right at the last minute, right before the notice of sale happens, they call the mortgage company up and say, hey, I want to do something about this foreclosure. I mean, at that point, it's already too late. But anyway, this is it's a temporary fix. It's not a permanent fix, especially if you want to stay in the home. And like I said, most banks can be forgiving, and sometimes they won't. The number 5th and final thing you can do is borrow money from a private lender, a private investor, or your friends or family and stuff like that. But I wouldn't necessarily want to use that as as an option to save your house, because then, especially if it comes from a family member, then you're indebted with your family member, and usually when you borrow money from family members, it doesn't really work out that well, especially if you don't pay it back. But yeah, those are some options you have, especially when you're behind in your mortgage payments, and hopefully the bank isn't already filed a notice of default or anything of that nature. But if you are in foreclosure and you don't really, and none of these options work for you, You can feel free to reach out to me anytime. My phone number is 775-391-5236, or get a hold of me on my website, which is nbpropertysolutions.com. There you can learn more about me and read more articles about foreclosure and stuff of that nature. Anyway, I hope you got something out of this video, and hopefully you have a better understanding about what you can do to help remedy the foreclosure payments and stuff like that, and hopefully you can get yourself out of foreclosure and not lose your house. Anyway, that's it for this video. I will see you guys in the next video with more content and stuff like that. Of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel so that way you can see more content. Of course, smash the like button and share it with all your friends and family. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, you guys take care.